Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Working on Music, talking to ourselves. We're working on the same song. I'm on my lunch break, so you might hear Outlook popping in the back. I actually had been recording for a little bit, but I forgot to turn on my audio input capture, so it just would have been silent stuff, so I just started over. I did a couple things since last we met. We'll play through it, but right now I'm working on that break. If last time we heard it, it was kind of this guy. Add a little more snare work in there. I'm not sure about it. We'll see how it sounds in the end. But the other thing I did is I had just this idea of like a kind of a percussion I wanted to hear. So I just recorded it by voice. Let's see if it comes through here. Basically, I was listening to the track and I was like, I don't have a loop. Let me go back. Something like that, right? And like it just meant to be scratch. I was actually gonna replace it with percussions and drums, but I'm like, I don't know. Let's just process it. Maybe it'll be cool. So I did, and I've been kind of chopping it up and stuff. So now here's what we got, just going discreetly here. Maybe I'll throw some drums for fun. Nah, I apologize. I have a little bit of a cold, so if I feel like I gotta blow my nose or sneeze or something, I'm, muting myself. That might happen a little bit because I felt like I had to sneeze, but then I didn't. So yeah, that's the breakdown. Add in kind of that little programming, but the next part, the greatest part, is because I recorded it just with my mouth. Here's what the other part of this audio looked like. It's like headphone line noise, basically. If I could get a grip on this guy. It's not. There we go. And I'll show you guys. This is once again the power of recording audio content and sampling. So, oh shit, it's already been flattened. Well, basically, the original recording had like clicking and basically headphone noise from the track, but I think mostly it was cymbals coming through. But after compressing and distorting a bunch, I get this, which is a great wash / stab kind of thing. Pretty cool, right? I think so. And so in context, now our break, it's a little less sparse, right? Like you're getting a little less in that synth groove, but I think the benefit of having more stuff going on is probably worth it. So let's come from the hook. So that's what we got going on there. So now what to work on. I'm pretty satisfied with that breakdown and where it's at. One of the things, let me go back to my list of notes, is that I know we need to add a lot more sound design. That's not the right way to say it. Look for a cool vocal sample. Like this song would benefit from something like that. Look for cool cyber techy glitchy technology sounds. We need some of that kind of window dressing in the background. You know, if you look at the effects track, it's just for my shit. This is like pretty exceedingly sparse. You got that like kind of noisy drone thing at the beginning. You get like a little, what is this, a downlifter? I think it's a downlifter. Yeah, it's a downlifter. You got this thing, and then you got these guys, which frankly should probably not even be in this group. And I think I need to move them out. I think they go with the drum loops, because that's what they're doing. Yeah, let's just do that now. I gotta get the volume fixed. So I think I'm gonna leave them on their own track. So one of the things, you know, when you work with the producer and stuff is you don't want to be trying to bring over tracks that are like, you know, a lot of people get in this habit of saving every single plugin so they can tweak every single little detail and this and that and this and that, and it works great on their local computer where all the plugins are the plugins and everything else. But you try and bring it to another studio, open the session, like ain't shit working because they want the plugins, they want the right versions, you know, all of that kind of a thing. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I kind of forgot. But we got these booms. Talking to myself, making music. We got these booms. And we're going to move them up to where our drums are. And what we're going to do first is see that it's a -12 and that's a -16. I think I remember where I was going. And that is, you got to make your sets portable. I'm going to do a special video series on how to do this shit, but your tracks got to be portable. And part of making stuff portable is organizing your shit, printing your shit, and all that kind of thing. But the other decision you got to make is like, you got to bring some shit flat. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be bringing, you know, hella 38, 39 tracks of audio. I don't want to bring like maybe 16 tracks. Like, you want to commit to enough shit where you're like, yo, these are the decisions I made. These are the sounds I picked. Here's the flattened stuff. It's enough that anybody could do a remix. It's enough to literally mix the album, which if you work with a really good master like Chris Lord-Alge or some shit, that's what they want. They want stems. They don't want like, you know, every single stem. They sure shouldn't want your effects, but they want printed tracks. A guy like CLA is one of the best. Everything he does ends up being no more than 48 tracks because that's his board. But don't gotta be that many tracks, and I like working with less. So, for instance, I'm just saying that because these booms, they were kind of in the effects group, and I'm moving up to drums, but I don't think I'm going to put them in the drum loops group. I think they're like an important enough thing because they're part of the hook that for now, I just want them to be on their own, doing their own thing. Let's see if it sounds right. I kind of adjusted the fake here too. Let's see if there's anything going on in the effects group that we're missing. That. Although, so it was getting mixed with the other stuff. And this was like, it's always risky to start moving everything around because, you know, what if the reason it sounded just right was because it was being compressed against the thing in the effects group? Yeah, it's about right, I guess. Now it's out here, it can be mixed on its own. What are we gonna call this though? Loop, hook, booms. Just something to make sure we know it's like, yeah, special. Alright, the other thing too we gotta do is actually just literally work on our drum tracks. They're real fucking sloppy. Fix drums, which includes 3A, add 808. There's no real bottom end on them, and talking over a song, it sounds like maybe we want to try adding some. 3B, make some more interesting hat stuff, you know. I already got add some fills and the perk loop thing. Okay, and then what other drum stuff do we got to do? Let's see. Maybe a little bit of this. This is real like finishing touchy though. Just like the squelching the build, although you know, we do this on the bus. And here's the great thing, right? When you make it so your track has, maybe we'll just do this for fun. When you make it so like your track is portable with the people you're working with, because you don't have too many plugins and things, and you're using in-house Ableton plugins, for instance, then you can start doing shit that, generally speaking, does not translate. Like if I just give Sean stems, he's not going to get anything I do that's bus automation, right? Because why would he ever? You know, he might take the bus for a reference, but that's not what he's going to be mixing in. I mean, sometimes when you want that real, you know, THICC sound, you do actually just mix in, like, the reference track with the entire track, but that's kind of maybe, like, experimental. It's been done. Just like sometimes you want that just, like, omnipresent kick. You render the entire track, and then you just make a new track and layer a kick and render it again. Like, that's real shit. And there's a million ways to get the same thing, you know. Just depends what works for you. So, things I like to do in the master just for funsies. And remember, we're working into a limiting situation here. And at least by the end of the day, our mastering always ends up that way. Nothing we do is subtle. You've got a compressor. You've got a limiter. So any dynamics you add are getting kind of smashed out. But what that means is that we can do things like, let's go add a utility to our master. Not too much. We got this utility. It's got to obviously be before, you know, the actual mastering chain. But one thing that's real cool to do is just automate the gain. Make it so that whenever, like, a thing happens that's important, you know, is the fakie important? Let's see how it flows right now. Sift. Hey, Gabby. I think it is. All I like to do is like this. I'm gonna have to embiggen this a little bit. You know, first off, like, let's make sure we got our reference there. Basically for one, you know. So I guess for two, the way I like to do it is for about two measures here. Just put it up by, I mean, a real little. I need to get this newest version of Live up, because then you can actually set these things by hand. It's like amazing. I should probably do that today. You know, but I want it to be at like, crap. Let's get back to where we were. What happens if I just keep? Yeah, it's a little easier. One dB might be too much. Let's see if we can tell. Maybe we want it to be more like this. I like that. No, that's pretty slight, right? It's one of those things where, like, do you even hear it? I don't know. I think so. But now I can copy that. We know that's our default, like, we'll call that like our little pump, right? And we'll use that for places like, oh, I gotta label this shit too. Now it's all been mixed finally. See, if my track was labeled, it would be very easy for me to right now go, hey, how about I can put my dips where I need to be. So we have to go, what does this end up being? It's the uplifter, I guess. Wait, that verse. You can see I got too many designators. I have both the go and a hook, and then like uplifter and verse. It's like what? The intro, on the other hand, is like a verse. So intro's fine, fakey is fine. This is the go for sure. Uplifter, you know, in my world, basically drop or go is depending on the song. Just the same way of saying like this is like, you know, the part, right? This is the cool part. Uplifter is like, you know, you've done your first 16 or 32 bars of this cool thing, you know, and we're doing electronic dance music sort of, so you're probably going to double it up and do 32. At which point, you know, that's where you do the same thing, but you know, build on top of it. Maybe the vocal goes away, but you do something else or whatever. That's the uplifter. You're taking the same thing and you're lifting it up. Now, in this thing, the vocal just goes through all three parts, which is kind of weird for pacing. You know, that's like the hook vocal, that little comp piece, and then, you know, this is the same stuff just on the same channel and kind of like a little looser. And we do that twice. So it's like the uplifter has the hook, but I think it sounds right. And the hook has this hook, which isn't even the real hook. The hook's during the go. Even though, yeah, nah. That's the confusing part. The go is like, if it wasn't so hooky, you would call it the chorus, basically. Line by line, processing time, line by line, I'm on my grind, and then this is, yeah, on my grind, I'm one of a kind, that kind of thing. Anyways, it's fine. It's the same fucking loop. It'll work out. But so we got the hook. Here's the breakdown. New verse. Alright, build, use and go, and then I guess this is outro. Sweet, so let's go back to this guy. And we don't gotta be all bigified like this anymore, but it's easy enough, so let's copy that. Is it gonna paste it? Well, okay, great. So, Fakey gets a little one, Go gets a big one, Uplifter should get a little one, Hook will get a big one, Breakdown gets a little one, Verse will get a little one, Build gets a little one, Teasing gets a little one, Go gets a big one, Outro gets one. Just, you know. Look at that. Now so let's go to go, and let's pump up the jam slightly more, and I'm talking just a little, maybe 1.75, something like that. Now here's the thing, right? Because I can't put in actual values. We're just picking one kind of unscientifically, but since we're copying pasting, it's uniform. It's fine. You know, what are we? How hard does it hit? You know, at the master level, it's pretty saucy, right? Yeah, not a lot of dynamics. Sorry, we're not mixed. Alright, so we did the breakdown. We just kind of messed around with that loop. We labeled everything. We did the volume. We just did the big one, so now we'll do that one everywhere, right? I think this is fine. It doesn't stick out to me too much. Or, I'm sorry, this guy. And, you know, maybe for this guy we make it a little more extended, even make it an entire measure. Now, you know, this thing works. For me, I never want to do it if I'm not working into compression limiting, because I don't have great ears. I want to be more subtle and heavy-handed, right? So I just added like no more than 1.74 dBs that then gets compressed and everything. But the idea is, right when you come down, just pick it up a bit, give it a little bit more on the big one, you know. The other thing I'm going to do just for fun is we're going to do some, I guess using utility, we can do width. Yeah, why not? Alright, so basically in the fakie, once we get close to the go, we just want to bring it in a bit. So let's pull it up. We're at a hundo here. Same thing, set up our boundaries so we're always back to normal. I don't know. What does it sound like if we go extreme? That's the first question, right? I'm not getting that slim, but alright, and so that's pretty subtle. Like, let's listen a little more in context and see if you could even tell that, like, that's happening there, really. Pretty cool. Let's go extreme again. Just think about it. No, it's too much. You lose too much. But we can get well here. You know, if I had the new Ableton, I could just put a shape there. It'd be nice too. Maybe make it a little more fluid here. Isn't there a width visualizer in Ableton? Isn't it Spectrum? Is there not a method? I guess not. If I turn that off, it's still... Yeah, okay. sad. Let's do it through here. It's cool. Now we're not, you know, gonna actually use the imager. But we are gonna look at it. So, let's see if things get smaller. Already pretty up the middle, man. Jesus. Right, so this part's already pretty thin, so naturally you've got some of the thinning, but we see once it gets to the area where we're bringing it in, you know, it gets real thin towards the end here. And now we got a nice spider field. Alright, I think that's pretty good. And once again, we can just copy and paste it where we want it to be. Alright, so utility. You know, in these effects, you don't gotta use them like heavily. I might use it there. I might see how it sounds in the breakdown. But I'm thinking I'm not gonna like this. Actually, wasn't too bad. Shot one. Bring it in. See, the only thing is that we got this panny guy here. And he loses something when, you know, you're not letting him be panned. Now the next thing is it gonna work here because we use the loop to pull people in. Oh no, wait, that's the ease and the build. This is not where we want to be. You know, we use this loop. Pardon me. We use this loop to pull them in. If we make it, you know, it's a wide loop, so I don't know. Maybe it works. Let's see. It's not your own business, rocking out. Another thing we can do, alright? It's next level. but yeah, see, less is more there for sure. It's not a huge effect, it just brings it down a bit. This part you want it to bring it back because it affects it, but alright, so see, we just added a little stereo with automation, a little gain automation to poke through into things, and like once again our song's now a little more polished, and we could take something off our list which just feels really, really productive. And some fills and drums, 808. I'm really avoiding this. We're gonna have to get to that. Cool vocal sample, cool cyber techy glitchy sounds. Make some more interesting hat stuff. So, yeah. What seems like feasible? Or what's the order of attack here we should come to? See, I did that master stuff because it needed to be done, but that's like, you know, just workman work. It's just the kind of thing you can do without being too artful if you're thinking to do it. Which is kind of a cop-out to being creative and using your creative brain. So I think we're going to have to like just work on the drums at some point. Make sure these loops are right. Make sure everything's sounding good. So a lot of weird stuff in some of these loops that probably needs to be EQ'd around. It adds weight, but I don't know if it's like flubby weight that no one can hear. It just takes away the headroom. It's that kind of weight. Yeah, I mean, do these guys even need to be grouped at this point? What if we just auto pan this thing? You know? Like a ton. But slowly. tell you what, I think we're gonna call it here. I'll make a recording a little later, I think. But what I'll probably do is just take some time to maybe look for a vocal sample or some cool effectsy things, just so, you know, I'm not spending all the time mining my folders, because this library is organized like dildos. I'll probably fix it, then condescendingly make a video explaining how to organize your shit like I practice what I preach all the time. But, you know, it is very illustrative when I'm like, I need stuff and I can't find it, so I'll just always go to my named producers folder. Like, you know, that's a shitty workflow. It's going to produce very similar crappy results. Maybe not crappy, but it's not going to, you know, really help you fly your producer freak flag like you want to. So, anyways, I'll be back. Thanks for watching.